Good morning. Today is Monday, August 4th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zori and Lady Pitbull on UCY.TV. Good morning, lady.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
Doing pretty good, actually. Coming off a second funeral this weekend. Two funerals, 2 Saturdays in a row, so...
That's depressing.
I know, it's bad news, but good things came out of it, actually, after all, so I'm pretty happy about the good things.
Yeah, balance it out. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I got my mom settled, so...
Good.
I'm back down for a while. I hate it down there. I hate it with a passion.
How come?
It's on the other side of LA. It's in Riverside, and it's just I don't do well in big cities, and every time I go down there, I get sick every single time.
No way. So you got sick?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
on
that.
the way home, and I had to drive because my roommate doesn't have a license.
Oh, I hate driving when I'm sick.
Oh, I know.
Oh, my
God. But we made it. I'm a tough cookie.
There you go. That's right. Tough it out. That's good. Good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well...
God, coming back, I didn't have any internet while I was gone. One day we went to Starbucks, and we did a little bit, but, man, come back and then look at everything that's going on. My God.
I know. How do you... It's like, when you left... Like a week ago, in 1 week, Ebola has now spread all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then there's that super bug that's killing off doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
And, I mean, God.
It's
just... And we're giving millions to Israel, and...
Oh, I know. I just saw that they freaking approved a bill authorizing $225 million in emergency aid to Israel. They don't need emergency aid. Freaking Gaza needs the emergency aid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything's so upside down.
Did you hear that they bombed a second UN school building with, like, actual, like, refugees in it? Like, women and children?
It doesn't surprise me.
They bombed a second one.
I mean, we do it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think we've bombed school buildings, though.
I don't know. There's been schools here. I wouldn't doubt it at all. I mean, who knows? Nobody's over there. We only get the news that they give us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. I can't.
With his drones, he's been killing innocent people all along.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got a whole wedding for one person, and it probably was the wrong person. So
that's right. I remember that too, and we did that more than a few times. We found more than a few weddings. I totally remember those. That's sick, and that's oh my God, it drives me nuts.
I know. I mean, all the time you think you're the good guys, and then you find out you're not so good. It's really heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, I don't know. It's like. The U.S., the average citizen isn't the bad guy. It's the freaking idiots that run the country.
Right.
And I guess it's the same with everywhere else.
Right. Other countries do the same thing, but we've always said that we were above that. That's what's so really bad about it. I
know, and we should be above that.
Oh, we should.
The very ones that say that we're above it are the ones that are... Doing it all, and that's what they just use the same old crap on us time and time again. I think people are getting sick of it all over the world. I think people are saying, stop.
Yeah. And that brings me to this speech that Obama did, admitting that we tortured people. That blew my mind. It said, President Barack Obama made a rare acknowledgement during a Friday press briefing concerning the United States' past use of enhanced interrogation tactics in the wake of September 11th terrorist attacks. Now, that's how they always word it, enhanced interrogation. But wait till you see what he said. It said, in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, we did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right, but we tortured some folks. We did things that were contrary to our values, President Obama said near the end of a nearly hour-long press briefing at the White House in Washington, D.C. That's the first I've heard of them, actually saying tortured some people.
I know, because, remember John Ashcroft said, well, it's not torture, it's pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the line has ever been ever since he said that. Now they've come out. Interesting.
And then it says, it goes on, the commander-in-chief made the comment as he fielded a question concerning John Brennan, the director of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, in between queries from journalists regarding situations in Gaza, Ukraine, and West Africa. Earlier this week, Brennan admitted that CIA employees had, as alleged, spied on the computer usage of Senate Intelligence Committee staffers while they worked on a report concerning the agency's use of contentious interrogation tactics. The report, a 6,000-page study, has yet to be made public, but Senator Dianne Feinstein, the chairperson of the intelligence panel, said it is chilling and will show far more systematic and widespread than we thought. After acknowledging that the U.S. had tortured some folks during Friday's briefing, Obama added, that's what the report reflects. So that's why he's bringing that up now. It's because that report's going to be coming out, and it's going to show that. And then earlier this week, Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, told Daily Beast that the American people will be profoundly disturbed about what will be revealed in this report. On his part, President Obama added during Friday's briefing that the character of our country has to be measured in part not by what we do when things are easy, but what we do when things are hard. The word torture to describe the tactics used by the CIA is rarely used by government officials, but President Obama has indeed condemned the agency's past abuses before. During an address last year at the National Defense University, Obama said, in some cases, I believe we compromised our basic values by using torture to interrogate our enemies and detaining individuals in a way that ran counter to the rule of law. Wow.
Wow, and he's saying that and he's the one that, brags about bombing, innocents with drones? Come on.
All right. Okay, it goes on. So after I took office, we stepped up the war against Al-Qaeda, but we also sought to change its course. We relentlessly targeted Al-Qaeda leadership. We ended the war in Iraq and brought nearly 150,000 troops home. We pursued a new strategy in Afghanistan and increased our training of Afghan forces. We unequivocally banned torture, affirmed our commitment to civilian courts, worked to align our policies with rule of law, and expanded our consultations with Congress. Obama said in the address from last May. The president spoke of the report after being asked for his opinion of Brennan, who previously insisted that Senator Feinstein was speaking erroneously when she said the CIA had spied on Intelligence Committee staffers. I am deeply dismayed that some members of the Senate have decided to make spurious allegations about CIA actions that are wholly unsupported by the facts. Brennan initially countered the senator's claims. On Thursday, McClatchy reported that an investigation conducted by the CIA's Office of Inspector General concluded that its employees acted in a manner inconsistent with the common understanding between the agency and the Intelligence Committee. Brennan then responded by meeting with Feinstein and Senator Sachs Chambliss the vice chairman of the committee and apologized to them for such actions by CIA officers as described in the OIG report. So they admitted to it, and they've apologized. Well, why don't they apologize to us for all the spying on us that they're doing?
Well, but you know what's weird here? Do you see what's really weird here? The weird thing... Okay, keep going to the end, because...
okay, and then, there's only one more sentence. It says, I have full confidence in John Brennan, Obama said during Friday's presser. And that was it.
Okay. The weird thing about this, about the CIA spying on Congress and the Senate and all that whole thing, and coming out and exposing this newly found piece of evidence against them, right?
And that's why they were spying on them, because they knew they were investigating this very thing.
Right! Bingo! You totally hit the nail on the head there. They're the ones who were doing all the freaking torture. And so, this is kind of typical when you think, I mean...
Well, yeah, and you know what happened, the way the whole thing happened is the committee somehow got a hold of papers that they weren't supposed to. They didn't go in and get them, but I mean, somehow they landed in their possession.
Right.
And that's how they found out about all this torture and stuff. And then they find out that the CIA is spying on them because they know they have the papers, and they just all got, But I'll bet you anything, now that they've said they're sorry to old Feinstein, and her feathers aren't ruffled, she'll probably forgive them, and we'll never see that report.
Right, exactly. She'd be like, cuckoo, oh, everything's all better, But the thing about it is we gotta remember through history, when we kind of saw a stunt like this being pulled by the CIA before, and that was during the JFK Warren Commission investigations, because who was like the head of that whole thing? It was George W. Bush Sr., and he used to be the head of the CIA, but no, all of a sudden he's appointed as the head of the CIA, you know what I mean? It's just, and the head of the commission, or whatever, and man, I mean, this is it's the CIA investigating themselves. And it's really but I mean,
it was something for him to come out and use the word torture. You don't hear that.
They had to, because they did it, and God knows how many people they tortured to death.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
We'll never know that.
Never gonna know that. And some low-level heads may roll out of this. I mean, so let's just call this I don't know, torture gate, because I'm dead certain. I'm dead certain.
I listened to some of the speech, and I don't think any heads will roll, because in the speech, Obama says they were under an astronomical amount of pressure after 9/11 to get information, and that's why they did it. So they're going to be excused.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. It's not torture; it's pressure.
Right, and I mean, look at it. Clapper can lie straight-faced right there to Congress, and nothing happens to him.
Exactly. So, exactly. So,
I would be shocked if we were to see the report.
It'll be another just sweep under the rug, along with the rest of the stuff. Man, the rug is going to be as tall as the moon here soon.
I know.
I mean, jeez, I can't even deal with all the lies that are under there right now. It's just, they keep burying and burying and burying it.
I think something comical over the weekend, and that was Pelosi chasing the senator across the Senate floor.
Huh?
Yeah.
No way.
I can't remember what one it was, but he was saying that the Democrats had plenty of time to address this immigration problem when they had the House and the White House and the Senate and the House of Representatives, but they didn't do anything, and now they bring it up, as this big problem, and then he walked away, and it shows Pelosi over there running after him with her hand in the air, going blah, 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 blah. And that was the end of the clip. But and the title was Pelosi chases somebody across the Senate floor.
Hilarious.
It was hilarious. I mean, that woman never ceases to amaze me, makes me laugh every time she opens her mouth.
I know. She's a big running, shake-fisting joke.
I know. She's just, I don't know. And that word sparkles comes to mind every time I think. Oh, it was sparkling thing to go down there where the immigration problem is and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I wonder what the argument was about.
Well, it's because now they're bringing up this problem about immigration and stuff when they should have been addressing it when they had the House, the Senate floor, and the White House all Democrats, and they didn't. And now, they're addressing the problem now that they're all gone now on recess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, boy. I don't know. Man.
And now we don't know what countries these people are coming across the border from. Now I hear they're putting up the warnings and stuff in Chinese, that we have Chinese coming across.
Oh, there is an article about that.
Okay.
Do you want me to read that? Let's see. I saw it.
And they keep downplaying this, and it's a serious problem. Diseases are coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the report. It says leaked CBP report shows entire world exploiting a U.S. border. They're all coming in. And the thing is I was saying like the other day that people like down in Honduras and Guatemala and all these places, they don't use toilets. Okay? So if you have like somebody that's been exposed to Ebola, right? Oh geez, here goes the clip playing. Hate that crap. If one person with Ebola gets down into the immigrant population, and then think about it, they're shipping all these people up to every single state in the union that take craps like out in the open, you know what I mean? Like in whatever, in the woods or in the bushes, and they don't, you know what I mean? And Ebola is spread through feces, and so guys, this is a planned move. These two things are not coincidental. That's going on right now. None of this is coincidental. I'm telling you, because it's let me read this. All right, it says Lubbock, Texas. Elite intelligence analysis from the Customs and Border Protection, CBP, it's going to be CBP in this article, reveals the exact numbers of illegal immigrants entering and attempting to enter the U.S. from more than 75 different countries. The report was obtained by a trusted source within CBP agency who leaked the document and spoke with Breitbart, Texas on condition of anonymity. The report is labeled as unclassified / for official use only and indicates that the data should be handled as, quote, sensitive but unclassified, SBU, unquote. Alright. The numbers provided are in graphics and broken down into OFO and OBP. Alright. Try and follow this, guys. The Customs and Border Protection Agency is divided into the Office of Field Operations, OFO, and the Office of Border Patrol, OBP. The OFO numbers reflect anyone either turning themselves in at official U.S. points of entry or anyone caught while being smuggled in at the points of entry. The OBP numbers reflect anyone being caught or turning themselves into Border Patrol agents between point of entry or anyone caught at interior checkpoints by Border Patrol agents. The OFO, inadmissible, designed to any individual from a nation other than Mexico or Canada, means that U.S. authorities took the individuals into custody. Whether they were deported or given a notice to appear is unknown. It is important to note these numbers do not include data from U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE. The available ICE data are in addition to these numbers. So, guys, the unavailable ICE data are in addition to these numbers. So, the numbers that are astronomical. That's what that's trying to say, is that they all have different numbers and none of it's been added up yet. The report reveals the apprehension numbers ranging from 2010 through July 2014. It shows that most of the human smuggling from Syria and Albania into the U.S. comes through Central America. The report also indicates the routes individuals from North Africa and the Middle East take into the European Union, either to illegally migrate there or, as possible, stop in their journey through the United States. The data are broken down further into specific U.S. border sectors where the apprehensions and contact occurred. So this is a big deal. The European Union, places like Sweden and all in around there, they are heavily inundated with people from North Africa and the Middle East, and it causes giant problems over there. And now they're just not even going over there; they're just coming here. That's what that last paragraph kind of said to me. Among the significant revelations are that individuals from nations currently suffering from the world's largest Ebola outbreak have been caught attempting to sneak across the porous U.S. border into the interior of the United States. So,
yeah, that's scary.
It's incredibly scary, and I'm going to repeat what I said earlier because this is my third time saying this. But that's okay. You have to hear this because it's extremely significant. And you gotta get on the same page. People that come from South America and Honduras and El Salvador and places like that don't use toilet facilities.
Right.
And they're being bused to every single state in this nation. Okay. And now all of a sudden here comes the Ebola, and then you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And these people use right now, and I read this a couple of days ago. I didn't actually. I take it back. I did not read it. I should have grabbed that headline. I should have read it. The places where these people are being stored is. They're taking craps all throughout the facilities. It's a giant poo station everywhere, and here comes the Ebola. This is how it's going to spread, people, and be assured that it gets into every single state because these people are loose now in our nation, and I think mostly the highways and stuff. Because when I went up to down over to Pennsylvania, I saw a ton of these people. They were everywhere, and sure they were at a rest stop or whatever. Some of them I'm sure use toilets, but the ones that are coming across right now don't. And all it takes is one Ebola person. That's it. So
yeah, I heard it's airborne. Somebody was saying.
Yeah, we Walter came on with me last week, and he read the article that went into that from, I think it was 2012. So, and he read that article.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I read about it, it said you had to have close contact, and now I read that it's airborne. So, you don't know what to believe.
Right. Well, this, I think the plan of just opening up the border and letting this, go to every single state in our nation is just, I mean, guys, think about it. This is something that guns and ammo can't stop.
That's right.
And that's all I really need to say about all that. Everybody who's stocked up and... I read somewhere where they're working on a vaccine, but they're going to be using humans as the guinea pigs. Oh, they already are.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
They said they were going to be testing for this new vaccine in September.
Yeah, and well, think about it. By September, this Ebola is going to be completely encircling the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to get to Australia, it's going to get to New Zealand, I mean, all these little islands and stuff. With the 20-day, 21-day incubation thing, you just, people who are flying everywhere around the world, people are going to, I guarantee you by September or, it's going to become just this, and that's next month. It's gonna
right, and they've already lost 60 doctors, and I forget how many nurses,
and there's
that are helping these people.
Yeah, I just found this too. Holy crap! There was a freaking another mudslide in California. There's
a mudslide.
Yeah, thousands.
They haven't had no rain. How can they have a mudslide?
I think it says where'd it go? Thousands. It cuts off thousands. One dead. Mount Baldy, California. I don't want to get derailed, and I just derailed myself. Let me. Hang on. Here we go. This is huge. I want to continue reading that last thing, but I just want to bring this up. Here, got it. All right. So, where was I? Okay, let me continue reading. It says, among the significant revelations are that individuals from nations currently suffering from the world's largest Ebola outbreak have been caught attempting to sneak across the porous U.S. border and into the interior of the United States. At least 71 individuals, 71 guys, from the three nations affected by the current Ebola outbreak have either turned themselves in or been caught attempting to illegally enter the U.S. by U.S. authorities between January 2014 and July 2014. Wow. So that all it takes is one. All it takes, and these are the ones that just got caught. Never mind all the ones that are running around that didn't get caught, right? So
nice way to get rid of 80% of the population.
Nice way to get rid of 80% of the population. Thank you very much.
And I've seen pictures, and it's horrific. Oh my God.
I know. Yeah. If people out there aren't scared right now, you damn well should be. Yeah. And I just posted in the chat room some, and go through UCY to get that, or Jules actually posted that, so it's a all over, it's like an entire head cover for $20 off a Sportsman Guide, which is awesome. Okay, as of July 2014, 1,443 individuals from China were caught sneaking across the porous U.S. border this year alone. Can anybody say this is an invasion?
Yeah.
Okay. With another 1,803 individuals either turning themselves into U.S. authorities at official ports of entry or being caught attempting to illegally enter at U.S. ports of entry. This comes amid a massive crackdown by Chinese authorities of Islamic terrorists in the communist nation. 28 individuals from Pakistan were caught attempting to sneak into the U.S. this year alone, with another 211 individuals either turning themselves in or being caught by officials ports of entry. 13 Egyptians were caught sneaking into the U.S. this year alone, with another 168 either turning themselves in or being caught at official ports of entry. 4 individuals from Yemen were caught attempting to sneak into the U.S. By Border Patrol agents, and with another 34 individuals turning themselves in. Or being caught attempting to sneak through official ports of entry. Yemen is not the only nation with individuals who pose terror risks to the U.S. that report indicates travel from. The failed nation of Somalia, known as a hotbed for Islamic terror activity, was also referenced in this report. 4 individuals from Somalia were caught sneaking in by U.S. Border Patrol agents into 2014. So from January to now, they're all coming in, guys. Another 290 either turned themselves in. Do you notice how, like, the individual that were actually caught, but the ones that turned themselves in is like 290 Somalians turned themselves.
Right. See, well, it's because Obama went over there and did speeches and saying, you know, if your children can make it to America, then they won't be sent back. I mean, that's why they're all coming in droves.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I mean, it's like this has been done on purpose, and you know, that's why we're not getting that many Mexicans coming across, and they're not sneaking past. They are actually coming in and going, "Here I am.
Yeah,
put me up somewhere."
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, I mean, let me keep going because this is it's kind of redundant. But the numbers is what I'm kind of after here, even though there's a lot of redundancy in this article. But the numbers are, and again, these are all numbers that they're throwing out there. These aren't the numbers that they haven't, of the people that haven't caught at all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and that's got to be just absolutely nuts. Okay, it says this reporter previously covered the issue of illegal immigration into the U.S. from Somalia and other nations in the Horn of Africa, and that is that was the last sentence of that. But that's these are just the numbers here are just ones that they're putting out. I think that they're covering up a hell of a lot more.
And I read an article where, you know, the ones that they send them out in cities with slips and their buses saying when to appear in court, and they're not appearing in court. They're not getting bench warrants. They're giving them more time. They may have been confused, they say.
Yeah, may have been confused. Oh, my God. Okay. So, I mean, these things are segueing into each other perfectly because, okay.
And then Congress goes on their recess, and isn't Obama planning some vacation here, too? Some golfing,
sure, he went out
Martha's Vineyards.
Sure, I think his little vacation starts now, too. So that's
right.
Why would they all go on vacation at one time? Don't you think somebody would, like, be standing watch?
And right when all this stuff is going on...
Exactly. They all take vacations. Wow.
Well, probably won't miss them because they don't do anything when they're here anyway.
Well, George Bush didn't come back from his vacation after Katrina hit.
That's true.
You remember that? So they when things are at their worst, as they are right now,
partying.
It's about worse. Yeah, they go partying. You know what I mean? So everybody's drunk, and actually, what I think is everybody's not going partying. I think people are headed for their frickin' bunkers.
could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or they're damn well getting ready to. Or they're making their plans to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they're almost done with that under the Denver airport, if those tunnel things are still out there or if they're all set in place.
I'm sure they're all set in place by now. They've had lots and lots of time.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of time. They know what they're doing. Everything, I think, is a go, actually. I think,
it sure feels like it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, it doesn't feel like it. It really is. Now, I'm going to read this.
Okay.
Let me... Oh, man. Okay. Hold on just a second. I think I did this. I just want to post this in the chat here. Okay. It says, and this is a Mike Adams article, but he absolutely he posts the patent, and I'm going to post that patent here in a minute in the chat room. It says, why does the CDC own a patent on Ebola invention? Ebola, huh? Yeah. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control owns a patent on a particular strain of Ebola known as Ebobun. Ebobun. Its patent number CA274152-3A1, and it was awarded in 2010. You can view it here. And what I is, because there's a little 10-second delay, you can view it here. Hey, right? There, bam, it's in the chat room now. Okay. Patent applicants are clearly described on the patent, including the government of the United States of America as represented by the Secretary, Department of Health and Human Services for Center for Disease Control. The patent summary says, the invention provides the isolated human Ebola, H-Ebola, in brackets, viruses detonated as Bahindi Bugyo Ebobun, deposited with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC Atlanta, United States of America, on November 26, 2007, in accord with extension number blah 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 blah. It goes on to state, the present infection is based upon the isolation and identification of new human Ebola virus species, Ebobun. Ebobun was isolated from the patients and suffer. It was isolated from the patients suffering from hemorrhagic fever in recent Ebola outbreak in Uganda, which was the first Ebola outbreak back then in 2007. So, in other words, they picked it apart and picked out the little bits that they wanted to save. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from it. It's worth noting, by the way, that Ebobun is not the same variant currently believed to be circulating in West Africa. Clearly, the CDC needs to expand its patent portfolio to include more strains, and that may very well be why American Ebola victims are being brought to the United States in the first place. Let's see. Harvesting Ebola victims to file patents.
Harvesting
Ebola from victims to file patents. That's what it says. Now, we know that, and most everybody knows, that there was two doctors that one of them was flown into CDC Atlanta yesterday, and then the plane went right back and going to get the colleague now and bringing her back. Alright, I'm trying to breathe, guys.
I'm rocking.
Yeah. From the patent description on the Ebobun virus, we know that the U.S. government, 1, extracts Ebola viruses from patients, 2, claims to have invented that virus, and 3, files for monopoly patent protection on the virus. Okay. To understand why this is happening, I'm sorry I have to laugh at that. First, you have to understand that a patent really is what a patent is and why it exists. A patent is a government-enforced monopoly that is exclusively granted to persons or organizations. It allows that person or organization to exclusively profit from the invention or to deny others the ability to exploit the invention for their own profit. Yeah, right. Or
my God.
Right. Or to, in other words, to get the to prevent anyone else from making dime one from any invention. So in other words, they're cornering the market. And I can guarantee you, they say there's no cure. That's bullshit. Okay.
So you know what? Dr. Rima, in fact, I just ordered some, it's been 3 days ago, nano silver solution, and they've had great results in the labs and stuff, and she wrote the CDC, the FDA, and all them are telling them about the results they've been getting from this against Ebola, and no response.
Get your silver, guys. There you go.
Not colloidal silver, though. There's a difference here. It's nano silver, and it's called silver solution. I'll put the link there, and people can go read on it. But I ordered mine, and it seems to be having a good effect, against you catching it or against it. So I'll put the link. And I like Dr. Rima.
Rima Labo?
Yeah,
she rocks.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll put the link there, and if anyone's interested, I've got mine ordered because I read all the stuff in there, and it's different from colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is still good for bacteria and stuff, but this is different. And you put that there. And another one is you can go to drrimaknows.com and check it out.
Okay. Let me go on with this.
Okay.
So, because this is crazy. All right. Let me go back. I'm just going to kind of backtrack here because this was a pretty hardcore thing to understand. To understand why this is happening, you first have to understand what a patent really is and why it exists. A patent is a government-enforced monopoly that is exclusively granted to persons or organizations. It allows that person or organization to exclusively profit from the invention. Okay. Or to deny others the ability to exploit the invention for their own profit. It brings up the obvious question here, why would the U.S. government claim to have invented Ebola and then claim an exclusive monopoly over its ownership? Ding, 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 ding. Kibono people, who benefits?
Wow.
Okay.
That's insane. And we know they test all these things over on people over in Africa.
Well, sure. They weren't trying to freaking cure any diseases over in Africa. They were spreading diseases through freaking vaccines.
And Gates and Soros, both of them. I was just reading something on that this weekend. Yeah.
Well, let me keep going with this because this is freaking, this is a pretty good fucking article, I have to say. U.S. government claims exclusive ownership over its invention of Ebola. The summary of intention section of the patent document also clearly claims that the U.S. government is claiming ownership over all Ebola viruses that share as little as 70% similarity with the Ebola that it, quote, invented. So, guys, this gets better. It says Invention relates to the isolated Ebola virus that morphologically and phenogenically relates to members of Flaviridae I know I mispronounced that. In another aspect, the invention provides an isolated H. Ebola virus compromising a nucleic acid molecule comprising of a nucleotide sequence selected from the group consisting of a nucleotide sequence set forth in sequence ID number 1B. I know this is technical. A nucleotide sequence that hybridizes to the sequence set forth in SEQ ID number 1 under stringent conditions, and C, a nucleotide sequence that has at least 70%, 75%, 80%, 85%, 90%, 95%, 96%, 97%, 98%, or 99% identity to the SEQ ID number. So, in another aspect, the invention provides the complete genomic sequence of the H. Ebola virus Ebola. So, guys, they're claiming 99% identity. So, in other words, that's a technical way of saying that every single freaking strain of Ebola that's out there, the U.S. government owns a patent.
Belongs to the U.S. government.
Yes. Ebola vaccines and propagation. Here we go.
That's why they created it, just so they can make a vaccine.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. And Jules has been screaming this since day one. Absolutely. The CDC, and this is exactly what's going on here. The CDC patent goes on to explain it specifically claims patent protection on a method for propagating the Ebola virus in host cells, as well as treating infected hosts with vaccines. Bing, 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 bing. In another aspect, the invention provides a method propagating the H. Ebola virus in the host cells, comprising infecting the host cells with the inventive isolated H. Ebola virus described above, culturing the host cells to allow the virus to multiply and harvesting the resulting virons. In another aspect, the invention provides vaccine preparedness comprising the inventive H. Ebola virus, including recombinant and chimeric forms of the virus, nucleic acid molecules comprised by the virus, or protein subunits of the virus. The invention also provides a vaccine formulation comprising a therapeutically or I'm not sure. I'm going to just go for it. Prophylactologically effective amount of the inventive H. Ebola virus described above, and pharmaceutically acceptable carrier. So there you go. They've cornered the market on the vaccine too. No medical reason to bring Ebola to the United States. This patent may help explain why Ebola victims are being transported to the United States and under the medical authority of the CDC. These patients are carrying valuable intellectual property assets in the form of Ebola variants, and the Centers for Disease Control clearly desires to expand its patent portfolio by harvesting, studying, and potentially patenting the new strains or variants. Dr. Barb Anna, as infectious disease specialist who spent time on the ground developing nations, saving lives, recently told Judge Jeannie, there are no medical reason to bring them here, especially when you see how well Dr. Bradley was. That didn't make sense. However, there is an entirely different reason to bring Ebola patients to America, so they can be exploited for medical experiments and military bioweapons, harvesting, or intellectual property claims. Wow! So, would you guys go to say that these people being brought in from Honduras and El Salvador and everywhere else in the world for that matter, aren't being used as a bioweapon against us? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Talk about using a population That's usury.
Yeah.
Damn it. Alright. Surely medical authorities at Emory University and the CDC are working hard to save the lives of the two patients, of course, who have been transported to the U.S., but they are also pursuing something else at the same time, an agenda of isolating, identifying, and patenting and harvesting infectious disease agents for reasons we can only imagine. Only hoping to save lives. On one hand, it is worth pointing out that the CDC's patent on Ebola is at least partially focused on methods for screening Ebola and treating Ebola victims with drugs or vaccines. This seems like a worthwhile precaution against infectious disease that clearly threatens lives. On the other hand, why the patent? Yeah.
Yeah, get GSC mandatory vaccination.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. That's that's the thing, mandatory, so that they can inject you with something even worse. That's gonna act quicker. Jeez. Here we go.
But, again, I hear it's not 90. It could be up to 90%, but it's in this country it would be 60% death rate.
I don't know about that. I mean, look, if you've got people crapping on the side of the highway, or not even the highway, they really couldn't do that, but on, they could pull over anywhere on our streets, I mean,
it could be anywhere, I don't know how they even get a percentage.
I just caught my dog eating some foreign poo, right out, and then she was going for it, man, and I stopped her, and it didn't smell like hers. So it could have been kitty stuff, but I mean, still, it spread through feces. So, like right now, as we know now, it spread through feces. And if feces are everywhere, okay. Let's see. On the other hand, why the patent? Patenting Ebola seems as odd as trying to patent cancer or diabetes. Well, they probably do have patents on that. Although I can't say. Why would a government organization claim to have invented this infectious disease and then claim a monopoly over its exploitation or for commercial use? Does the CDC hope to collect a royalty on Ebola vaccines? Right. Or is it looking to invent more variants on those patents too? Oh, nice. Make no mistake that billions of dollars in profits are at stake in all this. Shares of Techmira surged over 11% last Friday as pressure was placed on the FDA to fast-track Ebola vaccine trials. The company has set up. Health campaigners have started a petition which has already been signed by approximately over 15,000 people on a change.org pressuring the FDA to approve the drug in the minimum possible time frame, reports Business, I don't know, etc. Yeah, this is all...
They want to make as much money as they can before we die off.
Yeah, and there's a clip that goes along with this, but we can't quite play it, which is okay. Matter of fact, I'll give it to Jules so she can have that. Or I'll definitely save it, and maybe we can listen to it tomorrow. It says, right, here's the last paragraph here. Let me get done with this. Carefully scripted medical theater. That's what this is. With this, we start to see the structure of the elaborate medical theater coming together. A global pandemic panic and a government patent and importation of Ebola into major U.S. city, an experimental vaccine, the rise of little-known pharmaceutical company, and a public outcry for the FDA to fast-track the vaccine. So if anybody's like a backstabbing bastard, you should probably invest in this TEKMIRA pharmaceutical company, Techmira.
Yeah. How can people make...
Wait, let me finish this one little thing.
Okay.
If Act 2 stays on course, this medical theater might someday involve a, quote, laboratory accident, really, I think, in a U.S. lab. The, quote, escape of Ebola into the population, which we're seeing happen right now in the border, and a mandatory nationwide Ebola vaccination campaign that enriches Tecmira and its investors while positioning the CDC with its virus patents as, quote, the savior of the American people, unquote. Yes, we heard this music before, but the last time around it was called swine flu. The formula is always the same. Create alarm, bring a vaccine to market, then scare governments into buying billions of dollars worth of vaccines they don't need. Bing, 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 bing. So, the solution? What's the solution? The nano silver.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty hardcore freaking...
That just blows my mind.
Yeah.
That they can actually get... It's saying they created this whole thing. But, I mean, and you know you can't hide patents. So somebody did some good work there.
Oh, yeah, fleshing that out. Yeah. I mean, basically, they are rushing to... They are absolutely rushing to... That's why they're rushing these doctors home so they can patent this strain too.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it's crazy. And they've already released it down south. It's already here. 71 people from...
You know what's bad is, like, a friend of my mom's called me last night and was telling me her son, he's always been real energetic, works from 6 in the morning till 6 at night and everything. But now he's breaking out with these blisters all over, and his skin is peeling, and he's weak. And I go look up Ebola, and I go, you better, because the doctors don't know what's causing it. And he's lost like 30 pounds in a week and a half. And it sure sounds like Ebola. And he's in Palmdale, that's just east of LA and Riverside.
Oh my God, people. I'm telling you right now. Get your nano silver and face masks. I already posted the face mask in there too. In the chat room a while ago. But I'm telling you. I mean,
I don't care. I'm not taking their damn vaccine. I don't care. They can quarantine me or anything else. They're not doing
That's what they're going to do. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Fine.
That's how they're going to come after us. Is that
I'll say quarantine.
mandatory vaccinations, or, you know, you have to go be put in a place where other Ebola patients are. And so you'll get Ebola whether you have it or not. See? Because that's the thing. That's what that's the plan. So if you refuse the vaccines, you will be put in with other patients, and you will get it regardless. You either take our shit, or there you go.
You know, I mean, people are, once you see how horrific that disease is, you know, people will be begging for the shots, and then the shots, you know, I mean, they'll, of course, be immune from any lawsuits, you know.
Sure. Absolutely. So either you take the shots, or we will give you Ebola. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. This time next year, people, we're not going to remember the United States as it once was. I mean, it's already started. It's already started. There's no stopping it now. They've pulled the trigger. I mean, I've said this. Ebola is going to be all we're going to be talking about from now on.
It's... Yeah, you know, I mean, we always knew they were coming at us, and they were coming at us fast, but we just weren't sure of the exact means that they were going to take, and I think this is it. And it's so convenient that all of Congress and Obama all go on vacation just as all this is coming into the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is not an accident. Not an accident. None of this stuff is an accident. Obviously, if the U.S. government's got patents on all this stuff and rushing to get patents they don't have on a strain that, you know what I'm saying? They've got they'll probably have a patent here pretty quick.
Well, the patent means they created Ebola.
Yeah. That's right.
And then went down into Africa to test it.
Right, so they could actually release an airborne version of it easily. How easy is that? Oh, it's mutated. Whoopsie. You know what I mean? Now it's airborne.
Wow.
But first, the feces is going to be spread by all these people coming over the border. This is a crisis in slow motion, and people out like in the, except for our listeners and people who pay attention to this stuff, nobody else is getting it. They're all thinking, "Oh, the CDC's got it under control." Ha ha ha.
But there's a cure there for the ones or something that will make you immune to it, or else they wouldn't release it.
It's their they've got it's the vaccines. Just
like they've had the cure for cancer for a long time,
So if the nano silver works pretty darn good, but might not
should go check it out and read all her data on it. But I was convinced. I ordered it. And 8-ounce bottle, it came to $41.48.
Wow, Pioneer Woman's in the chat. My goodness. Hi, W. How are you? It's good to see you in the chat room. I don't think the Ebola is going to get in the mountains. Well, hopefully.
Well, it can get anywhere. People go to the mountains too.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if Hondurans will like the cold. I mean, I don't know. There might be an awful lot of them that may die over the winter because
they're putting them. I mean, they're putting them up in these old military bases. They're converting them. And it's $140 a day for each one. I could live on that. Give me $140 a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. $200 a day.
So, I just, and what, they're not going to send these babies back to the country that they came from. They're not.
Oh, no, because we're too humanitarian for that. We're going to just coddle them and put them up for adoption, and some of them are going to go out to child slavery rings and porn rings, and oh my god, I can't even think about it. Oh my god! Ugh, it drives me freaking insane.
It's just nuts. I don't know. But, I feel for them because of the places they left. I mean, can you imagine what it takes for a mother to send their child off without them?
I know. If they knew.
Make them safe. I mean, just to protect them. I mean, the agony and torture that mother must go through. They love their babies just as much as we do.
Well, absolutely.
I do anything to keep my baby safe. So, I mean, there's heartache everywhere around that.
Little did they know that their babies were being used for a weaponized Ebola virus. Holy shit, people. Come on. This is like beyond, like, nightmaric dystopian craziness here, and it's happening now. This is not like, none of this is like, maybe happen? No, it's already happened. There's no stopping it now. This is like a wildfire getting ready to explode around the world. And Europe, and like I was saying, a lot of these people like go straight from like the Horn of Africa and all these places, and in West Africa, straight over to Europe. So believe me, the Ebola is there too. It's just not. As soon as they start reporting on it, then they won't be able to stop it because it's going to already have infected hundreds of thousands of people. But by the time the mainstream media starts screaming about it, and they're getting ready to, believe me, by September it's going to be nothing but Ebola. I can guarantee it.
But then, I think back to that flu epidemic in Mexico, where they made that big fuss, and it was nothing.
Right. Well, this is how they've made it, made us apathetic about it, so that when we hear it, it's like, oh, swine flu, whatever.
Well, I don't know. You know, they use the same scenario over and over, and it might just be a way to get people vaccinated with stuff.
Well,
I don't know.
That too. I mean, that's a given. But I think because they freak out, and we always saw all those images of people in China with their masks on all over the streets, and oh my God, you know, the pig virus is spreading, and la la la, and then nothing really ever happens. They cry wolf so many times that by the time the real thing comes down the pike, no one's gonna fucking listen to them, and it's going to spread more effectively like that, because nobody is going to pay attention to them when they cry wolf anymore. So that's why we've been around this little merry-go-round several times before.
Now, why can't they be? I don't know. It seems like you should be able to do something to these people who created it.
Exactly. The ones with the patents have culpability, but then they write in their own, their own whatever, that they can't be sued over it. Because
I bet you think Gates and Soros are involved in this.
Hell yes! Are you kidding? They've got their names all over those documents. You can almost guarantee it. I mean, seriously, if their names aren't on it, their buddies' names are on it, and they funded it.
Mm-hmm.
See, especially
since it started out in Africa, and that's their favorite place to go test vaccines on those people.
It is. That's their favorite petri dish of the world. And it is. I mean, I don't mean to sound like nasty, but that's exactly what's going on. Bill Gates doesn't run like humanitarian efforts, people. He is the anti-humanitarian plague that's descended upon, African nations. He's the one financially backing all that stuff that got released down there.
Yeah, well, I just read a thing where Gates and Soros, they've been using people in Germany in their hospitals to test these vaccines and stuff on unwittingly. These people don't know that, they're getting a placebo when they think they're being treated and stuff. And this is in Germany.
Yeah, this is one giant insidious...
These people are sick.
It's a giant lab. And so here we go, man. I mean, they pulled the trigger on just this enormous pandemic. Here in the U.S., it's here. Ebola is here, people. They're not saying it mainstream, but I'm telling you unequivocally, Ebola is here. And it's not the 2 that were shipped in. No, they are streaming across the border. And, oh, God. Oh, I don't know, people. I'm personally mortified.
Oh, me too. And then when you see those pictures, oh, my God.
I can't even look at that. And
a horrific way to die.
It's going to be... It's designed to induce trauma-based mind control, because when people start seeing their loved ones bleeding through every freaking orifice in their bodies...
Getting big blisters.
It's traumatic. It's traumatic to see, a human body like that.
What was the one that we used to put people... hide them away? They had, what was it? They even had an island where they sent them. Oh, what was that disease? Oh, I can't even remember now.
Not sure.
Boy. They had an island where they sent the people that had it. Oh, come on, people. Long time ago. And it deformed, it would eat away at your body.
Ew. Like MRSA?
No, worse than that. Way before MRSA. Oh, God. I can't believe I can't remember it.
That's all right.
But it's where they used to, I think Australia was one of the places where they used to send these people.
Leprosy?
Leprosy, yeah.
Thank you. That's got to be Hammy.
Ananon. Ananon 14.
It's Hammy.
Yeah. Leprosy. It looks even a lot like it, Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure they've got a freaking patent on that too now. Yep, the Isle of Lepers. Thank you, Iota.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Pioneer Woman. She said leprosy too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I just couldn't
think of it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yup. Yeah. Jeez. Amy says the Isle of Lepers at the Walmart. That's about right. That's about right. Oh my God. So, like Jules puts it all the time, the Typhoid Marys. Well, they're coming across the border right now, everyone. And oh God, I don't know. And feces is the mechanism of delivery. So in other words,
stay away from shit.
Yeah, well, also it's wouldn't you say it was like a cruel like joke saying the United States is shit? See, it's what I mean.
Spread it everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So here's something I really wanted to touch on too. Let's see, we've got this is kind of a big deal here. Where would it? Let me find it. Shit. Here, this is a big deal. Meanwhile, while all this stuff is going on, they are the U.S. is actively taking down our military, dismantling the military, and this is just absolutely. They're flushing all the good guys out of the military. It says Army, and this is from Stars and Stripes magazine, which is the Army publication itself. Army to force out 550 majors, some in Afghanistan. He's out of Washington. About 550 Army majors, including some serving in Afghanistan, will soon be told they will have to leave service by next spring as part of a budget-driven downsizing of service. Meanwhile, they're approving $225 million to freaking Israel in aid and giving all these, like, aid packages out. But yet we can't put that into our military. Hello. General John Campbell of the Vice Chief of the Army acknowledged Friday that telling troops in a war zone that they're out of a job is a difficult task. Jeez, oh Pete, do you think? But he said that some of the soldiers could join the National Guard or Army Reserve. Oh my God, talk about giant demotion. What the fuck is going on here, guys? The decision to cut Army majors comes on the heels of a move to slash nearly 12,000 captains from the ranks. Army leaders are criticized at the time for giving 48 of them the bad news while they were deployed in Afghanistan. Oh, that's really freaking... Guys, the military's being targeted here. And if this doesn't say it, I don't know what does. If this doesn't prove that, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I mean, we still have Afghanistan going and all these others, and now he's cutting down... And these guys, so they won't have to give them a pension.
Right. Do you think...
They should tell these guys something.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of the majors and stuff because they haven't been in long enough to get a pension.
And don't you think that that's going to piss a few of these guys off and not be able to do an effective job out there in the battlefront? On the battlefront. The Army declined to say how many majors will be notified while they're on the battlefront. I mean, that messes with your head. And not to mention...
And they're not going to have a pension, and they're going to come home to where there's no jobs.
And if you think that the suicide rates were up in the military, this is just going to triple it, guys. The Army declined to say how many majors will be notified while they're on the battlefront. The ones that are deployed are certainly the hardest. Really? You think so? So why would you not wait till they got back? Dumb bastards. Campbell told reporters, "What we try to do there is working through the chain of command, minimize the impact to the unit, and then maximize the time to provide to that officer to come back and do the proper transition to take care of himself or herself and the family." Campbell said it is difficult to avoid cutting deployed soldiers because of the timing schedules. All of the soldiers being forced to leave are probably already been given a heads up that they were at risk of a job cut and will meet with a senior officer, according to the Army. Those who are cut have 9 months to leave the Army. Nice. They give you 9 months. And the soldiers who are deployed, including those in Afghanistan, will generally have about a month to move out of that job and go home to begin the transition out of the service. Good Lord.
What transition? They bring them back and they just release them.
Huh?
When the guys come back from over there, their deployments, when they do get out, they don't give them no transition thing. They just release them out into the public.
No, they're talking about the people who are being cut. These are the guys specifically that are getting fired. So what they tell them, if they're out in the field, they let them know that their jobs are going to be out to cut. Then they have a month to move out of the field, out of that job, and go home to begin the transition out of the service. So whoever got told, they only have a month now to serve in the field before they have to go home. The cuts have been difficult for many young officers, particularly captains, who tend not to have enough years in service to retire. To make the cuts, the Army looked at about 8,500 majors who joined the service between 1999 and 2003. Some may have about 15 years of service, depending on all the factors that go into credit for years of service, and might be able to retire, but many won't have enough time on the job, Campbell said.
You have to have 20 years. My ex-husband just retired recently. 20 years to retire.
Yeah, see, there you go. Guard and reserve leaders are looking for officers, especially captains, so there could be opportunities for the soldiers to continue and serve, he said. After 13 years of war that forced a significant and rapid buildup of the Army to about 570,000, the military now has to reduce its combat forces to meet the budget cuts. Yeah, right. They're not doing that. They're getting rid of all the good guys. They know through their talk and their chatter and all this crap who the good guys are, and they're cutting all the good guys out of there. Is what they're doing. That's how I'm guaranteeing that. The Army has to close about 500. No, wait. I'm sorry. 5,000. God, I'm not saying this right. I'm sorry. Over 500,000 soldiers now. But we'll have to be down by 510,000 by October, shrink down to 490,000 by October of 2015, and be down by 450,000 by 2019. In addition, if Congress doesn't act to prevent automatic budget cuts from resuming, the Army may eventually have to get down to 420,000, a size that leaders say may not allow them to wage even one major prolonged military campaign. Wow, do you think? The Army tried to avoid some cuts by slowing enlistments, using attrition, and some voluntary separations. It also has been combing through files looking for soldiers with disciplinary or other problems in their annual evaluations to weed out lower performing officers first, officials said. Bam, right there. That's just what I damn well said now, right? They're going after the good ones. They're weeding them out. I'm glad I read that last bit there, because that is a big deal. That's a big deal. They're going after the good ones, guys, and I just freaking read it. So, I don't know. I think that I really do believe that the picture of the future is very clear.
Oh, what was it? I went bluff. Brain fart here. Oh yeah, it'd be interesting, so that would mean that they're gonna cut back on the DOD's large amounts of money.
Yeah, well, supposedly, I have a feeling that they're not going to cut anything back except.
You know what? I know how to find out. Watch that page where they put on all the contracts that they do every single day for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that, and if they really are, that's got to be cut way back. They're not.
Yeah, right, and they're going to be.
They're not going to give up all that money. They're
no,
just,
they're
like
going to spend it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they always do. You know what I mean? They'll give Israel more package.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh my God. I'm kind of mortified here. So they're going after active duty guys now, not just the vets. Yeah. I feel just so bad, and they're not going to need anybody. They're thinning it down because of the robo. They're going to instill like robo troops, man. They don't need us anymore. That's another reason why of the thinning cuts.
Mm-hmm.
God, we've gone over that ad nauseum.
Yeah, I mean, robots are being so quickly advanced.
Yeah, there was okay.
I mean, they're going to advance their robots so far that their robots are going to get rid of them, and that would be the joke on them.
Yeah, and that would be like a Matrix-style scenario. And
I mean, because if you think you're going to make robots so smart, they're smarter than you, you don't even imagine that they wouldn't take over? Come on, even an idiot would figure that one out.
Absolutely. So that kind of dovetails into this now. Nursing facilities pin hopes on robots, and this is out of Japan, guys. Robots for nursing care and other medical purposes are being deployed around the country as Japan's graying society has fueled hope regarding robots' ability to ease the burdens of nursing care and support physical activity. One estimate sees the domestic market for robots swelling to 10 trillion yen by 2035. Different companies are competing to develop the latest technology, including startups emerging from universities and companies entering the field from different industries. Local governments are also implementing support measures, of course. The aid and care of dementia. This April, the Nakai Fujinorin nursing care facility for the elderly in Nakai, Kanagawa Prefecture introduced it's Palro, Palro, Palro robots equipped with artificial intelligence. Interesting. The 40-centimeter tall robots, that's not big, guys. In the pictures, the robots standing on the top of a table, were developed in 2010 by software company Fujisoft Incorporated in Yokohama. The Palro is a quote-unquote healing robot, capable of remembering more than 100 people's faces and names, as well as past conversations. It can also dance. Oh my, it even remembers my name. Takasoto, 90-year-old resident of Nakai, Fujiron, said happily, according to a member of the facilities involved in the robot's use, many elderly people feel affection for the robots when conversing among them is awkward. After 9 cities and 2 towns in Kanagawa Prefecture, including, Sagamihara, were designated by the central government as special robot manufacturing districts in February of 2013. The prefectural government examined the effect Palro robots had on elderly people with dementia. The results showed that many people enjoyed such activities as conversing and playing games with the robots. We also expect preventative benefits regarding dementia. we'll continue to support development, said Yakiro Takakawa, head of the prefecture's manufacturing promotion division. Osaka, keeping the user in mind. Here's another one. Out of Osaka, Japan. Industrial motor manufacturer Muscle Corp entered the field of robots around 2010, designing robo-helper Sasuke, which gently lifts and transports patients. Oh, that's interesting. I watch Sasuke a lot. That's it's Ninja Warrior is Sasuke. So, and I think Sasuke means to move your body or whatever. So let's see. Sasuke is used for such purposes as transferring a person from a bed to a wheelchair. The movement of a hammock sheet on which a person is placed and the lifting force applied to it are controlled by a lever manipulated by the caregiver. Wow, that sounds like a lift.
Yeah, just like they have over hospital beds.
Absolutely. They have automated lifts. I mean, what the hell? Mm-hmm. So they gotta have a robot do this crap? The comfort of the person is being cared for is the important thing. Hang on. Sorry, cough button. Hold on. Sorry, guys. The comfort of the person being cared for is the important thing, said Hiromofi Tami, 62, president of the Osaka-based company. Okay. Sasuke is distinguished by its simple structure, in which the robot is operated simply by moving a lever up and down. This is made possible by the company's own cool muscle motor. Cool muscle motor. Sorry, I had to read into that one. Which combines a driver and controller in one unit. Sorry. That was funny. Initially, during development, Muscle focused on performance. Sorry, I'm giggling. Working on... I'm sorry.
All right, don't start.
All right. I'm bad, you guys. I'm real bad. Working on a device that would automatically measure the weight of a person to be carried and transport them all by itself. However, people on the front lines of the nursing care had different priorities. Making something that is useful to people is the number one priority, not showing off our technical capabilities, Tamai said. Muscle is continuing its development of robots with this principle in mind. Yeah, right. Okay, so that's the end of that. I'm in the nurse's aid business. I have been for 25 years. I've been a nurse's aide. To have a robot actually go in there for you and transfer them from the bed to the chair, from the chair to the shower, that's like great.
Yeah,
we have hydraulic lifts that we use for that.
Right.
But if it can go in there automatically and do it, I mean, I don't know. People when they're paralyzed, especially quadriplegics, which means, you don't have use of all four of your limbs, and you're paralyzed from the neck down typically, their bodies atrophy in much different ways, and so they have muscle spasms that hurt, and I just don't think that you can, it's not one size fits all out there. Let me tell you right now. Right. Everybody's different. Everybody has different body types, body structures, body ailments.
Well, aren't they already using like computers to go in and diagnose and talk to patients?
Sure, they are. Absolutely.
Yeah,
they absolutely are. So this is just another way to corner that market, and they're coming out with the robotic military now, and
what I'm wondering is what's gonna happen when these military, these army people get, fired from the military, and there's no jobs out here, and you think they're gonna figure out, wow, we were over there fighting all that, and here we come back home and we have no place to live?
Absolutely.
I think they would be afraid of that.
Well, that's the very realistic reality that they've got to face, and don't you think that somebody like that's been firing or fighting on the front lines over there, suffering from it's just going to make just basket cases. I feel so bad at what's happening out there to everyone. I mean, we're all like in the crosshairs here, every one of us.
And there's it's like they're trying to pull everybody's trigger at once.
Yes, that's what we've been saying like this whole time. Wow, we got a half hour. Whew. Where do we go from here? My God, there is so much stuff though, happening.
And it's just, there was well, okay, now you live in Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know about that? Where they were stopping every car and interrogating them in there.
Yes.
Did you hear about that?
I read that. It was a tiny little blurb on WXYZ.com about it, and it was that there was a 14-year-old girl that was murdered. Right. Well, was 12.
Yeah, there's a whole article here. It says FBI police around Michigan town with checkpoints stop and question every vehicle.
Yeah, and they marked X's on their hands. Just like a freaking bar or some shit. Believe me, I covered that. I did.
What right do they have to stop and interrogate every person? I mean, yeah, you want to catch the killer, but how is that going to help catch the killer?
I saw the clips on this too, and in my particular neck of the woods, it wasn't raining, but down there it was, just because it was pop-up storms happening at the time, and it was pouring rain, and you saw all these blue coats that I'm so familiar with the, the yellow FBI writing on the back, running around in the pouring rain. Car to car to car.
The cars backed up for miles.
Yes, it was, yep, and you saw the helicopters were up there giving us aerial shots of it as well. And this is a one-horse town we're talking about. It's very much like here. There's one
and that's where they do it
here.
Where people aren't as apt. They wait for something like this. If not, caused it themselves, because they said they were taking down all this information. They were keeping it. They weren't just questioning people. They were taking their license number, their driver's license. Where were you? What do you do? I mean, a whole interrogation of every person in the community. I mean, that is not right, and that's conditioning.
Go ahead and read it. You might have a little more information than what I had the other day. I just had like one little paragraph of info.
Okay. Long lines of traffic formed as travelers attempted to enter or leave the village of Armada.
Armada.
Oh, okay. Armada?
Armada, yeah.
Okay. Government agents roadblocked all routes around town and put every driver under scrutiny as part of a massive murder investigation. The blanket search was conducted on the evening of Thursday, July 31st, 2014. Swarms of FBI agents, Michigan State Police, and local police officers joined forces to create 3 massive checkpoints around the small community, population 1,730, causing traffic to be backed up for miles. The police action came 1 week after a local girl was found murdered in a drainage ditch on July 24th. Short on clues in the search for April Millsap's killer, investigators decided to stop, question, document every traveler in town, car by car. This is uncalled for. This is like way over the line.
Welcome to the police state.
Yeah. Okay, it goes on. They're stopping every car both ways, and they're taking license plate numbers, names, and addresses. One resident named Brian told CBS Detroit, after being stopped by the FBI on Fulton Road, they're writing all this stuff down. They have a clipboard and they're writing everybody's information down. It's not like they're just checking and let you go ahead. They're writing everything down. WXYZ reported that police scrawled an X on the hands of every person they had talked to. Helicopter footage confirmed that lines of traffic were indeed backed up around the town during the dramatic effort. While some found the police checkpoints comforting, others reportedly protested against the dragnet, according to WXYZ Detroit. The police have no suspects in custody, but did take the time earlier this week to raid and arrest two unrelated individuals for growing illegal plants. Now, I mean, this is nuts. Anyone who reads this and doesn't see how nuts this is, okay, it goes on. Tracking down murder suspects is certainly a legitimate role of the local police, and every virtuous person would agree that April Millsap's killer should be found. The challenge that we continually face as a society is not only in keeping the police focused on legitimate crimes as opposed to victimless crimes, but also in performing this task while respecting individual rights. High emotion, panic-driven events undoubtedly present the easiest opportunities for the government to roll over innocent citizens' rights and privacy. And they are using this for that. Rather than interrogating everyone at involuntary checkpoints, police and citizens should voluntarily spread the call to find Miss Millsap's killer. A vigilant, engaged community will most likely be able to produce the tips necessary to find the guilty party. Submit information to investigators and support them when they do a good job. Do not, however, permit them to use a desperate situation to enact unreasonable measures. You know, and that's right. You know, they do this every time. Look at with the Boston bombing, closing down the whole city and taking people out of their homes at gunpoint. They use every little thing they can. Well, one person being murdered should not do this.
No, it shouldn't. What it should do is spark the local and perhaps definitely state law enforcement agencies. That's very legitimate. That's right. The typical thing they do, but the FBI is way the hell out of its jurisdiction and it always sticks its nose into local businesses like this.
Every single person, put in an X on their name to show they've been questioned and so logged.
That's right, just like a freaking bar. What do they think this shit is now? And so this is like gone like, I don't know, I said it all last week. It's way, way beyond the pale now of reasonable acceptance, and I don't know, the FBI is now going to be involved, I think, in every little thing possible. Everything they're going to stick their nose in, everybody's business all around the country. But where they shouldn't be doing this. We've got this. I mean, we've got it handled here. I think the state police and the local law enforcement agencies have it covered here, guys. Why don't you FBI agents go down and enforce the problems on the border and the freaking gangs coming in here?
Right, and then all this military equipment being given out to all the police forces. I mean, I was just looking at one where they got 2 of those armored cars that can take, a bomb going off and they won't even be destroyed. And, I mean, they're just giving them this, and the cops are using this for regular warrants, issuing regular warrants, sending in SWAT teams with these big iron, metal, military jeeps. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's getting completely out of hand now. So,
and isn't it fortunate that they're all getting that right at the time when, they're thinking about quarantines and all these outbreaks, and there's right time for martial law and all this stuff.
That's right.
It's just all coming to a head.
So, man, My goodness. I mean, what do you say? I mean, this is all, it's all coming to this perfectly orchestrated crisis, like major across the board, like not even a crisis that goes beyond crisis. This is a catastrophe.
And then the people in Ohio, they can't drink their water. Did you see that?
Yes, that's also part in southern Michigan too.
Yeah.
In southeast tip of Michigan, that's there's
algae like.
Yeah, algae. Yep, it's an algae outbreak here, and people can't. But people are allowed to swim in the damn Lake Erie. They said it's perfectly safe to swim in Lake Erie yet, but you can't drink the tap water or take showers.
And I mean, it goes through your pores if you're swimming in it.
Yeah, the freaking local health agency said that it was safe to swim, and the WXYZ news was showing people swimming away, la da da, and then like the smart idiot people saw the freaking news reporting on that out on the beach. Why are you here? Oh well, there's a coli all over the place. Well, why isn't this beach shut down? Well, because they said it was okay to swim, and that's why we're here. Well, I'm not letting my kids swim in there. We're out of here.
That's crazy.
Said that. A few people did that, and so I don't know, man. But yet you can't get it out of your tap. I guess if it comes out green out of the tap.
Yeah, it's the second day, and people now are waking up to how serious it can get when you can't get drinking water. What about if you can't get to the store and get this bottled water that is unregulated? Who knows what's in that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I can.
But your water's okay there?
Yeah, my water's okay here. We're not around Lake Erie and that. So, let's see. I'll read it this time since you read the last one. Just to be fair here. Oh, okay. Come on, I gotta let it. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to select a good one here. Computer's slow. Okay, it says, oh, it's just a damn video. But, okay. Now, it's showing in the video of somebody that just got got water out of their tap, and it's full of green algae. And that's what the picture says. I don't have the ability to play the clip. I'm sure we can do that tomorrow. It says, behind Ohio water drinking ban, a Lake Erie mystery, but yet they were letting him swim. And that was as of yesterday. For the second consecutive day, and apparently also, guys, before I start, they were showing satellite photos of the bacteria on Lake Erie, and the entire thing was covered for miles on every single shore of but they're letting them swim.
And doesn't it have phosphorus? Doesn't it leave a phosphorus? Is that what it is?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, go ahead and read.
Okay, let's see. I'm not sure if a phosphorus thing. I think it's something else. But, or it could be. For the second consecutive day, residents in an area of northwestern Ohio and southeastern Michigan, I might add, because there are the border counties, or there's border cities that also are under that ban, guys. Let's see, that included the state's fourth largest city, Toledo. So Toledo's included on this. And that's a pretty damn big city, are being told that their tap water is not safe for cooking or drinking. The governor has declared a state of emergency and deployed the National Guard to help get water and food for the region. As of Sunday morning, there were no reports of anyone being sickened by the tap water. Toxins in the water have been linked to an algae bloom in Lake Erie, which is a primary source of drinking water for many Ohio communities. In recent decades, Lake Erie has seen large blooms of blue-green algae developed in its western basin. Yeah, that's been going on for a long time. In 2011, the algae covered a record 1,930 square miles of Lake Erie, nearly 20% of the entire surface of the lake. So, blooms grow in excess. Oh, here it is. The blooms grow, and you were right, Zori. The blooms grow from an excess of phosphorus, which is the key ingredient in many fertilizers. So yes, Zori, you were absolutely right, phosphorus. Lake Erie is particularly prone to the blooms because rivers carry runoff from farmland into the shallow western basin of the lake. Some 63% of Lake Erie's watershed is used for agriculture, according to a February report by the International Joint Commission, which helps manage waters shared by the U.S. and Canada.
But, excuse me, for one thing though, but hasn't it always been used for agriculture? Why all of a sudden? Has this happened before that you know of?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I just said in 2011, a large area of algae covered 1,930 square miles of the lake, 20% of the entire surface of the lake. So, it's happened before that too. I'm sure. I remember when I was a kid, they would always, Lake Erie's got to get tested. You know, they test it every month. I think that the lake gets tested every month. Some 63% of Lake Erie's watershed is used for agriculture, according to a February report by the International Joint Commission, was how it's managed waters shared by the U.S. and Canada. The report suggests that a 39% reduction of phosphorus in the Maumee River, which is Lake Erie's single greatest source of phosphorus and empties into the western basin, would have a significant impact on the blooms. But phosphorus levels don't fully explain what the scientists are seeing in Lake Erie. For example, phosphorus levels were higher in 2007 than in 2011, yet the 2011 bloom was larger. Scientists are investigating whether rising temperatures connected with climate change, could be intensifying the blooms. It is the shallowest of the Great Lakes, and is the warmest and the most susceptible to effects of climate change. States a 2013 report by the Lake Erie Ecosystem Priority, a task force of the International Joint Commission. Of course, they're going to blame it on climate change. What do you expect out of those people? Climate change could also be bringing more intensive spring rains, which would wash more agriculture runoff into Lake Erie, the report notes. Wow, do you think? Gee, wow. That, how stupid. The water crisis in northwest Ohio comes as the U.S. and Canada are making headway against pollution in Lake Erie. Layla Clement of Liberty Voice reports, between 1972 and 1995, cleanup efforts for Lake Erie and all the Great Lakes saw excellent results. In 1969, the lake's annual phosphorus load in metric tons was just under 30,000. By 1995, it was reduced by over 3 times. So, yeah, it's been happening for a long time. That was 1969. There was a lot more phosphorus in there. So that's interesting. Additionally, the levels of mercury and other toxic chemicals that affect the edible fish in the lake reduced dramatically and have not increased since the 80s. Larger algae blooms have actually been found in other Great Lakes, but their size and depth and tides have meant that the algae could be dispersed more widely. Ms. Clement writes, the current situation marks the second time in 2 years that algae blooms have led to a second time in 2 years that the algae blooms have led to a drinking water ban along Lake Erie. USA Today reports that a Northwest Ohio township told its 2,000 residents not to drink water last year. That was believed to be the first time the city has banned residents from using the water because of toxins in the algae in the lake. USA Today's Rick Jarvis writes. It's the end of that.
Wow. Yeah. Every way they can come at us, they're coming at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the farm runoff is to be blamed for that because of all the the Monsanto freaking crap and the oh my god, and so you get the Monsanto shit going into the watershed, and nothing's going to be able to kill this algae off because it's like bacterial resistant. So this is and thank you Monsanto for that.
This is bringing it home to a lot of people that weren't thinking that. I mean, that it hadn't really faced it. Well, now they're having to. And what happens when the bottled water runs out? Because I seen a flash just go by that they banned for another day.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Then what are you going to do? What are the people going to do? Go swimming?
Nah, that's pretty much what they were doing. I mean, oh my god, I can't even believe it. How come that's not on? That should be on Drudge too, man. That they were allowing them to swim in it. But it was at least it was on the local news. The guy was just standing there going, "What the hell are you letting people swim in here for?" That's crazy, man. I don't know. It's not climate change, though. I mean, it's Monsanto. That's the problem.
Whoa, I just seen something. Oh, man, maybe we'll get rain. I doubt it. But there's a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 11 a.m. today in Redding.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, but 20%. What gets me is why do we even have this 3-year drought? Ever since Vietnam, we've been able to create rain.
Yes.
So why aren't they creating rain? I mean, that's a logical question I would be putting out there. If we have this ability, why are we allowing a 3-year drought where over 50% of the food for the United States comes from?
Right. Well, I think they are creating rain. I think they're just bypassing you guys on purpose. Yeah, they're putting it over
on you guys.
Yeah, and down south, there's all kinds of flooding going on right now. Down like in Arizona and Wyoming and all down there, it's all being flooded out with torrential rains. Texas too.
And all the way back from down south. I mean, we traveled just about the whole state of California, and you see all these canals full to the brim of water going south.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's bizarre, but the drought that the South was feeling, like in Texas and stuff, is all but over. They've gotten a whole lot of rain.
I was just talking to my friend in Texas last night, and he goes, "This is crazy." He goes, "We should be in the hundreds right now, if normally there." And he lives in the Panhandle, and he goes, "It's raining and it's storming." And he goes, "This doesn't make any sense. It's just upside down."
Yeah, isn't it weird? So they're coming at us from that aspect too now. You know what I mean? And as they weaken our immune systems with like crazy rampant diseases coming up from the border.
And then the geoengineering, you're breathing this every day, and I mean, all of California is being sprayed like crazy. And while I was down at my mom's, she lives close to the Ontario airport and the LAX, and you can watch them taking off, and not one of those commercial airliners leave any trail at all, even at the same level as the ones leaving the trails. They're at the same level and height going over my mom's house, and the commercial flights aren't even leaving a contrail. They are leaving nothing behind them, and right over to the left will be this one spraying like crazy.
Yeah.
Now, how can they say it's from commercial and then the other thing is sometimes they'll stop for 3 days. What are they? Anyone with common sense would go, well, what? All commercial flights stop for 3 days?
Right.
Why can't these people put 2 and 2 together? It just, it's that syndrome where you've been brainwashed so severely that even when giving the facts, you cannot assimilate it.
You can't process it. Yeah, that's why all these people are being allowed to just, come over the border. There's sporadic protests here and there, but for the most part, people aren't saying anything about it.
But see, and our immune systems are so weak now. For years, and a lot of people don't even realize that we don't have the strength to fight this off. Is another thing.
No, that's right. And this is all being done by design, on purpose, and manufactured.
It's all orchestrated. All of it.
All of it. Every single bit. Right down to the very last little nanobot. Bastards. You fucking bastards.
Yeah. Yeah. So
makes me so mad.
I know. And the people, I read a lot of comments and all the stories. In fact, I graze over the articles usually, and then I go read the comments. And it still amazes me, the people that just start name-calling, going kooks and this and that. When they're faced with facts, not hearsay, not theory, but hard facts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the scariest thing of all, I think, is the degree that the brainwashing and mind control has grasped this country.
Yes, it's apathy at its worst. I think I said apathy gone sideways. All right, guys, it's the end of the show now. My God, we're here. Stay tuned to ucy.tv for more programming. And guys, don't forget, Brandon Turbeville is going to be on tonight talking about the what is it? The Tax Wall Street Party. Remember we talked about that on Friday. A new party has been established, and it's called the Tax Wall Street Party and Nationalizing the Federal Reserve. Brandon Turbeville is going to be on tonight at 9:00 Eastern Daylight Time, and make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's see, John Stokes and Jack Blood will be on at 1 and then 3, respectively. And then at 10 o'clock tonight is United Front Radio after Brandon's show. And then the Anti-Media Radio is on at 11 o'clock after that. So stay tuned to ucy.tv. Brandon Turbeville's show is going to be very, very interesting. I suggest everybody stay tuned for that tonight. And make sure you check out all the sponsors and stuff. Everybody have a good Monday. Thank you, Zori, for being here.
Thanks for hanging, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.